The Northrop YF-23 is honestly one of the most beautiful combat aircraft ever built. But, it's also one of the few fighters that lost a competition it really should have won. Back in 1981, the Air Force asked for a fighter that could cruise at Mach 1.5 without afterburners, take off from damaged runways, and, well, just disappear from radar entirely. Two designs actually made the final cut: Lockheed's YF-22 and Northrop's YF-23. Both of them met or even exceeded every performance requirement. The YF-23 was stealthier, it was faster, and it had a longer range. Journalists and engineers just assumed it would win. The Air Force chose the YF-22 instead. That aircraft became the F-22 Raptor. The YF-23 became a museum piece. The decision was not about performance. It was about management, money, and a lesson the Air Force had learned the hard way 15 years earlier. Northrop had bet heavily on stealth. The B-2 bomber was their proof of concept, but the B-2 was also late, over budget, and politically radioactive. The Air Force had watched the B-1 bomber get canceled, revived, and redesigned. They had watched the A-12 attack plane implode. Cost overruns were killing programs. Long, sleek, canceled. A plane sitting in the desert with no crew. During the YF-23 development, Northrop submitted cost increase requests. Lockheed did not. That became the quiet reason. The YF-23 was engineered for ultimate stealth. Its S-shaped ducts and flat nozzles made it nearly invisible to heat-seeking missiles. But that design required complex manufacturing. Lockheed built their prototype with simpler tooling and more forgiving tolerances. It was 90% as stealthy but much easier to produce. One unclassified version of the selection brief says Northrop did not adequately demonstrate their manufacturing plan. That is procurement language for, well, we don't trust your schedule. The YF-23 carried its missiles in a central bay that required innovative launch rails. It worked perfectly in testing. But, new technology meant new risk. Lockheed proposed using existing tooling from the F-15 and F-16 programs. Northrop proposed a clean sheet. The Air Force had been burned by clean sheets before. Test pilots who flew both aircraft say the YF-23 was the better pure fighter. Smoother control harmony, higher sustained turn rates, lower drag at supersonic speeds. But the F-22 offered something the YF-23 did not: thrust vectoring nozzles that could point the nose down without pitching the whole aircraft. That meant close-range dogfight advantage. The Cold War ended just 6 months after the selection. The F-22's production run was cut from 750 to just 187. The Air Force, well, they quietly admitted they had over-optimized for a war that never actually came. Northrop dismantled the YF-23 tooling within a year. No production line was ever built. Now, the two flying prototypes just sit in museums. Today, the Air Force buys the F-35. It's not the fastest fighter, not the stealthiest either. But, it is standardized across 3 services and 14 allies. Engineers at Northrop Grumman still keep a model of the YF-23 on their desks. The newest NGAD fighter concepts, actually borrow its diamond wing layout. The lesson of the YF-23 is not that the Air Force made a mistake. The real lesson here is that, well, perfect is the enemy of the supply chain. A fighter that never shoots down an enemy aircraft cannot defend the budget. The better aircraft does not always win. Honestly, the aircraft that can be built wins. The YF-23 lost because it was too advanced for its own timeline. Sometimes, brilliance arrives a decade too early and just waits. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.